yellow sweater, you do not belong here. Young man in the back, you're too tall. You don't belong here. Lady in the pink shirt, too big. You don't belong. Too short, too fat, too skinny, too dark, too educated, undereducated. At some point in our lives, we've all known what it felt like to be ostracized and cast out and be told, we don't belong here. Maybe this happened to you in adolescence when your body didn't develop the way you wanted it to, or you had pimply skin or buck teeth, and you became the butt of the class jokes. Maybe it happened later in life when an accident or injury changed the way your body looked, and now you feel shame, anxiety, and depression. This is the emotional reality for families of those with disabilities and special needs children. We often go into the world and navigate a world that tells us that we do not belong, even in public spaces. A 2025 study done by two different groups, the Barna Group as well as the National Survey of Children's Health, found that 80 to 90% of those with special needs, chronically ill, or disabled children do not attend church. You want to know why? Church is not a welcoming environment for us. It's more exclusive than inclusive. Service for us becomes more of a burden than uplifting. I want you to take a moment to quietly evaluate yourselves. Close your eyes while I ask you these few questions. I want you to be honest with yourselves because it's just you talking to you. Let's go. Question number 1. When I see a person with visible disabilities, is my first response to help them, welcome them, avoid them? Question number 2. If something happened to my body or my child's body today, would I be ready to go back out into public? Would I feel like my community would support me? Or would I just want to hide? And question number 3. When you see caregivers taking care of the special need, do you feel like they're educators that can help you or people that's just in your way? You can respond now. If you're having problems answering those questions, it's probably because society has a way of putting their negative judgments and stigmas onto our community, and we internalize it. We're not welcome in public spaces, and we keep getting told we don't belong. I want to tell you the difference between a disability and a special need real quick. A disability is a term used by the government to help you guys, get any funding that you might need. A disability could happen anywhere at any time. Special need is a term used in education for the students to be able to get the right accommodations that they need. Now, you can have both. I was talking about being put out of public spaces like church. That has happened to me and my daughter, Rain, several times. I have a daughter named Rain. She's 16 years old. She has disabilities and special needs. My daughter has Dandy-Walker syndrome, which is a tumor on the back of the brain. It's inoperable. They cannot remove it. And because of where that tumor is, she's visually impaired. So she's blind. She also has something called hydrocephalus, which is water on the brain. So she has a shunt. Rain is 16. She's had 3 major brain surgeries. My daughter, she's a paraplegic, which means she does nothing for herself. It's what we call total care. She's had hip surgery and wore a cast from the waist down to her ankles for months. So those spit bubbles mean a lot to me. I know it's annoying to you guys. She's nonverbal. Is all I hear all day. But when she stops doing that, I'm afraid she's having a seizure, another diagnosis, but I'm hoping that she's asleep. So yes, we get put out of public places, even the library. A study done in 2025 by the National Institute of Health found that 42% of those with special needs and chronically ill children suffer with suicidal ideation. 42%. A family just recently, February 2026, were found dead in their home due to murder-suicide. The two children were severely autistic, and support for the family was removed from the government. The parents didn't know how they were going to care for these two severely autistic kids, so they figured we'll kill the kids and we'll kill ourselves. 42%. What drives this lack of support? Caregiver burnout. You may have children that are sick with the flu for a week. If you're married, you take care of your husband, you might have to do that for 2 weeks. But caregivers, we don't get a break. I had COVID and was on an oxygen tank with a nasal cannula for 2 months. I'm my daughter's only support. I still had to bathe her, still had to feed her, still had to get her ready for school. Then we look at the holidays. Oh, we got Memorial Day coming up, we got 4th of July. What are you doing for Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's? We don't get those invitations. Y'all go celebrate, but we're not invited. So we suffer with isolation and depression. And I have been there too. 42%. The responsibility of that child becomes one person's responsibility most times. So the divorce rates amongst our community are ever growing. The care for that child is one person making doctor's appointments, therapy appointments, school appointments, trying to still maintain your own health, mental and physical. Then the sibling of the child with the special needs doesn't understand why that child gets all the attention. All of these pressures, along with society's thoughts and views and judgments, without knowing what we really endure, weighs heavy on us. But it's not your responsibility. Why should you care, right? If you venture to say that it's not your responsibility, I'd like to say that you're wrong. Society has a responsibility to extend grace to all humanity, but it's a dual responsibility. We, the special needs community, need to take back our power so that we don't become part of that 42% that's suffering with suicidal ideation. We need to kick in the doors, educate on behalf of our community, ourselves. We need to not view questions as a stigma, but as a way of building curiosity and wanting to know more and to learn more about each other. We need to help our public servants to understand that just because someone is not responding does not mean they're being non-compliant. Maybe you're too aggressive, verbally or with your touch. We have to teach those that care for our special needs how to care for them, how to build trust with them. We need to take back our power. We need to tell our stories, bridge the gap between the special needs community and the general population. That's what I'm doing. My idea worth spreading begins and ends here. Inclusion does not begin with pity. It does not begin with policies. It begins when we reshape how we see one another, when we recognize that those with disabilities do have the right to take up space, and when we empower caregivers to educate others and reign with strength and dignity. We need a little bit more compassion, a little bit more understanding, and a little bit more grace, because we all do belong here. No matter what, I reign.